Okay, so you have your basic letters. It says R-A-E. It's really simple, reasonably simple. To color your outline, this is what I want you to do. Check it out. To color your outline, they're all going to need a right, left, and top, or bottom or whatever. So this is like first grade art school, but never went to art school, but you know what I mean. So let's pick 3 random colors. First one I picked randomly is this cool turquoise. We'll put turquoise at the very top. Hope it doesn't bleed through. And now this cube that you're doing is only the test model. Doesn't really mean that anyone's going to ever see it. It just means that it's going to be your map, your reference point. So, and I'm going to make the right side another random color, which turned out to be this green, and I'm going to keep them separate here so that I can look back and remember pretty much what I was doing. So the last one I'm going to grab is going to be kind of dark, just because that makes sense, right? I think I'm going to grab a darker green because we're kind of on a greenish slant here. So that's really dark. Okay. And the thing is, if you don't like these, like really, even in this example, it's not quite amazing. So how long does it take to do a second one? You know what I mean? Not very long. Not very long. So if you wanted to, I'm not saying we will, but if you want to, you can grab 3 other random colors, give it the same bonsai, balls out, cube treatment, and see what it looks like. If you like the way they relate, the colors relate better than your first grasp at the color combination, then by all means change it up. You're the one in charge. You're the one doing the drawing, so you can really pick whatever you want. So these are kind of random, but just gives you an idea of what you see. So you can do a bunch of these if you wanted, but we're probably not gonna. So let's start with the top one, just because we started with that. So that means that anything on the bottom right is going to be that first green that we put in there. Or actually it was the second thing we put down, but so you get an idea of that, right? So then we are just going to fill in everything on that side. So you say, wait a minute, Eric, what about fading and shading and all that? Well, this is the first remedial summer school after class lesson. So in this lesson, we're not going to get too crazy with the shading and whatnot. We're just going to do the basic sides. Let's see. So remember that markers bleed quite a bit, and depending on what kind of marker you're using, that bleeding might drive you out of your mind. So kind of leave 1/16 of an inch on the corner if you want to give it room to bleed. I do that. I also like to just cut it like spray paint. So that's an example. So we're saying on this side, generally speaking, on our cube, it's going to be that green. Now, if you are not very good at doing 3D graffiti outlines or pieces, you might want to pay attention, because this is the easy way to do it. Now, see what I'm doing? Alright. So the other thing is you don't want to do every single side that same color. It'll get a bit unimaginative. In other words, everything on the right hand side doesn't have to be that exact green. It's just the way you're going to start it off. And kind of get some coherence to the shapes so they look like they're kicking it in the same 3D space. So the thing is, with my drawings, I tend to get anxious and I want to put some color down. And so in this case, even though it's a small word, we spend a fair amount of time blocking out the letters, and so they look reasonably cool, I guess. They'll have to do. So we'll look at our little map. Our little map says what? Turquoise for the top. Now the top isn't always going to be the top. This is like top left. Another top left. And your initial drawing will kind of give you surfaces to render. That's when you know if your drawing is halfway decent or not, is when if you have actual 3D surfaces you can give shape to. So now this turquoise top, it's on the, I'm giving it kind of a top left, which isn't what we originally started with, but just using our cube idea. Now when I'm doing a wall, I do the same basic thing, but sometimes I'll paint a little color cube to the far right of the image, so that, or the wall outline, so that I kind of have this map. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is so remedial, so dumb, don't even tell me about the cube, it's so stupid. Yeah, it's stupid, but you might forget what goes where. So to have a little map to remind you certainly helps. So we're getting about halfway through this side of the word, which is making me think that maybe we'll try some other colors for the rest of but any surface that seems to match the surface that you just did might be a good idea to match the color, because then it's going to look a little bit more realistic. And the thing that's cool is we're not going for totally realistic, because this is just your drawing. It's not a photorealistic picture.